the priority here is we want to put a program together that's going to work, that's going to create jobs, that's going to create ratables, that in the end will be something where the people of Bayonne can go. We have parks so that people can walk and see the New York Harbor. And we had Joe Nichols, who's our tax assessor, do a comparison. And comparing, the land that's at Global, which is a container port, and the taxes we collect from that, and then comparing it to taxes collected from other parts of Bayonne, like the bulwarks, and you compare the two, you get 10 times more taxes from the ratables in a mixed use than you get from a container port. The proposal we had from the group that Mr. Conahan was tied to, well, actually, Mr. Mazzone was tied to, not Mr. Conahan. Don't want to say he was not directly tied. Mr. Mazzone was. They talked about the city of Bayonne bonding for a couple of $100 million to build these facilities, working with the state. The state would pick up some of it. But in the end, no, we would have to use some of the revenue, significant portion of the revenue we made from the container port to pay off these bonds that would require us to do some of the infrastructure, because the number of trucks we're talking about if you build the kind of facility they were talking about, it would not be unusual to have a couple of thousand trucks a day. I think we all make mistakes. I mean, yeah, I have made mistakes. We all make mistakes. I think I've tried to rectify those mistakes
immediately, too.
Right as soon as I could, as soon as I realized there were mistakes. What could I do? I can try to do it better. But again, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. Some of us make bigger ones than others. So yeah, I'm willing to say mistakes always are made. But I've made mistakes for the right reason, and that is to do the best job for the people of Bayonne. And I think, realistically, and I'm not afraid to say it, that I've done the best job that anyone could do in this job, given the constraints of the job and given the constraints of the present situation Bayonne finds itself in. Bayonne is an aging community. We have problems with brownfields. We have land that we can't use because it's environmentally challenged. We're trying to clean that land. We've spent time cleaning that land. We have, Texaco's a perfect example of a place that we really should develop in. 8 years it's taken. I came in and it was, before me, at least another 8 years before. It's over 20 years that the Texaco plant's closed. We have to clean that property up. It's still not totally clean to be able to do a project. So we have constraints that other communities don't have. What I do have,
some of those closed years were productive years where they were actively cleaning up the property. It was not just a matter of
nobody moving. And they're still trying to do that, right. But the thing is, people look at it and say, why isn't anything done? People say, why don't we have buildings, why aren't we building down the military ocean terminal, the peninsula? Problem is, we had to clean the property. Army said 7.5 years. Army said 7.5 years.
We did it in half.
We did it in 2.5.
Yeah.
We got to. That land has to be raised. Has to be raised up at least 2.5 to 3 feet. We have to bring in clean fill. We're bringing in right now that clean fill that is environmentally safe. We're not paying for it. If we had to pay for it, again, it would cost us money. So we're doing and we're trying to do what's right. And I've got a lot of good people working. The reality is, and I'll say this, Bayonne is in a better position today than it's ever been to do well, and I feel proud of that. When I became mayor, I had a state audit.
I know.
We did a state audit, and we implemented over 80% of the recommendations of the state audit. Not many communities in the state have done a complete audit, not done by the municipality, but done by the state authorities.
And as I recall, it was you got a fast track on that. You got it done quicker than people thought.
We got it done very quickly, within a year, and we implemented 80% of those recommendations. And even in the budget committee that was created, the citizens one. That one, most of those that we could implement, most of those recommendations, as you know, dealt with bargaining with the various contracts. You can't get involved with the contracts until the contracts come up. Most of those contracts don't come up for another 2 years. So then we have to deal with some of the issues that were brought up. But whatever we could do right away, we've done. And we've tried to do it. Running a city like this, the question is, it's a give and take. If you want the services, you have to pay for them. Garbage collection costs money. Maintaining parks costs money.
Streets.
Police and fire costs money. Paving streets costs money.
What about the part of the budget that is the future anticipated payments from the or payoff from the peninsula. Do you have a timeline on that?
We actually have a 5-year program that was approved by the local finance board of the state of New Jersey. It was approved as the program that we should follow, that would allow us within 5 years to put ourselves on a level basis for dealing with taxes and paying off all of our obligations, and to begin to pay off some of the bonds that have been approved in the past. So there is a plan that's in place, approved by the state.
All right, so it's not just something that's coming up every year, like where are we going to get the other money from? It's an entire plan.
It's an actual plan.
Okay.
It's an actual plan that was put together. It's about 20-some-odd pages. That was put together by our finance people together with the state, and the state local finance board approved that.
Okay.
And they've allowed us to follow through on it. They have to take into account all of those issues, but they mostly have to take into account who can do the best job for the citizens of the city. And most of all, how do we get done what has to be done to benefit the citizens of Bayonne and make sure this town grows and prospers. I think messages, I've got a record of 8 years. I think I'm very proud to run on the record that I had. I've been able to accomplish a great deal for the city. I brought in, as senator and assemblyman, when I was an assemblyman, now I'm a senator, over $225 million of money that the city would not otherwise be eligible to get. Some of that was formula money. Some of it was money that was grants. We've got a lot of grants, federal and state grants, that have helped us to pave the streets, do the streetscapes, build the parks, do all that's necessary to help the city, improve the police department, improve the services that we provide.
That's it, Mayor. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Of our website, that of course, news12.com. Well, a Hudson County councilman reportedly takes political competition to a whole new level, what police caught him doing and why they say he didn't act alone.
Anthony Chiappone, who the director says was caught red-handed tearing down the campaign signs of Mayor Joe Doria. Someone called police around 6 o'clock Monday night to say that Joe Doria campaign signs were being taken down from this fence. The caller also identified one of the people taking the signs down as City Councilman Anthony Chiappone. Chiappone is supporting Doria's opponent, Pat Connigan, in Tuesday's runoff. Chiappone says property owners asked him to take down Doria's signs and replace them with Connigan's. How did the Doria signs get in your car?
Well, the Doria signs were put there. Our guys went to homes of people who were disgusted by the dirty Doria campaign, and what happened was they had asked us to put up Conahan signs instead.
But the police director says that's not true, and what's more, he says Chiappone ran when police got there.
Upon his sight of the officers approaching the scene, he fled along an adjacent abutment up onto some railroad tracks and fled the scene on foot.
Police impounded Chiappone's car for expired registration. Chiappone says he's being targeted by rival Doria.
Things just seem to happen between the two of us, let's put it that way.
In Bayonne, John Bathke, News 12 New Jersey.